Okay, so now you probably heard from us long enough, and really who you want to be talking to are the superstars, our current students. So we do have 4 current students who are here today. I'm going to turn it over now to our first student, Jamie Del Toro. She is, in fact, a student enrolled in our 5-year program and finishing up that piece of it. So I'm going to turn it over to Jamie.
Hello, everybody. So like Linda mentioned, my name is Jamie. I'm currently in my 5th year in the grad program. I did my undergrad in childhood education with a concentration in history. So I can see there's a lot of students here who have a love for history. I had the same impact as you. I always found my history teachers to be my favorite. And I'm doing my master's in special education. I'm also a paraprofessional in the Bedford Road Elementary School in Pleasantville, which is where I did my student teaching for the last 3 years. So like Linda mentioned, doing your student teaching and staying in those areas really do provide a connection, and I probably would not have gotten that if I was not already in the school system. Also, as Linda mentioned, I was fortunate to be one of the first guinea pigs to do the study abroad program in Italy. And like Linda mentioned, it was wonderful, challenging, and life, changing. Linda is part of the main reason I did it. So again, Linda, thank you for pushing me to get a passport. And thank you for saving me on the airplane and that transfer. So we were able to teach children in the school system. So if you can teach pre-K in Italian, but only speaking English, you will be okay. And it's, really a fun experience. And while Italy and Ecuador are the only School of Ed faculty run programs, there are other not School of Ed, but other study abroad that you can do. My roommate went to Greece her freshman year. We have other students in the School of Ed who've been to Thailand, who did semester at sea, but these are all things you would work out with Linda. And Linda will be there every step of the way, planning it out and making sure you're thinking about everything. So you have nothing to worry about coming here at Pace. You're in really good hands. We do have small schools. So I've been with the same classmates now for the last 5 years. And those who didn't continue on the 5-year programs, I'm still in connection with them, and they're working in the field already. So don't worry. The 5-year program should be something that you have in your mind, but we'll talk more about that your senior year. Mm-hmm. And University 101 is that first start. You get in there, you meet Linda. Linda reminds you, what you're here for. As a future educator, you're expected to kind of reflect what you want your students to be like. So, and believe it or not, those 5 years go by pretty fast. The next thing you know, you're doing teacher research, you're in the field, you have a job, and now, you're coming back and helping others again, the way they helped you in the past.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. Thank you again for being here. Okay, who wants to be my next victim? I think we're going to go with Michael Schiffo. Michael, step right up and tell us all about yourself.
Hey everyone, my name is Michael. I am a junior childhood education major at Pace. I'm also a tour guide, so if a couple of you recognize me, what's up? I was probably your tour guide. If not, that's okay. Come back to Pace, come back for another tour, hopefully over the summer or even now during the spring semester when we're having virtual tours. Maybe I'll be your tour guide then, who knows? But that being said, I just wanted to say that I'm so happy to belong to Pace's School of Ed. Michael's the best tour guide. Thank you, Jenna. I really am so appreciative to Pace's School of Ed because when I was applying to schools as a high school senior, I knew that my grades were, they were good. They weren't the best, but they were okay. During high school, I was having this really rough time, and the admissions counselors were so nice to me. They contacted the School of Ed and they were like, listen, this kid wants to be a teacher. What do you think? And with the School of Ed and admissions counselors thinking hand in hand, they looked at my application and they kept reading my essay over and over, which really I pushed for, telling them about what I did outside of my academic life and everything like that. And they looked at me as a person. And so because they looked at me as a person, they said, you know what, we'll give him a shot. I'm here 3 years later, so I'm doing something right. But that being said, you know, like the fact that the School of Ed and the admissions counselors were willing to take a chance just based off the person that I was and not just my grades and my numbers, that means the world. Because as a future teacher, you need to realize that your students might not be the most academically gifted. They might not be the best student in the world. Just because they're not good at math or English or history doesn't mean that they're not a good person. Doesn't mean that they're not going to go on to be a fantastic athlete or a musician or any other job in the world. You never know. So the fact that Pace really looked at me that way and said, you know what, you seem like a good kid, it just really took me aback. And, you know, I've never wanted to belong to another school because no other school looked at me that way. I think one of my favorite places by far at Pace, actually no, I'm kind of torn. It's either the School of Ed building, which is Bucksbaum House, because that is where you see all the amazing School of Ed professors and advisors like Linda and Sydney, who are here to help us with whatever we need. But then also the Welcome Center, because, you know, at Pace, we always say that we're 2 campuses, 1 university. But really, if I could reword it, we're 2 campuses, 1 big family. Because honestly, all of the students and professors and professional staff, we all come together, we all support each other, we all do everything in our power to make sure that each other are okay. I know right now, literally right now, I had to throw my phone across the room because there's so many people texting me saying, are you okay? How's it going? How's your homework going? Do you need me to help you with class or whatever? Because that's just the kind of community that we build, you know? Just that worrisome of like, oh my gosh, Jamie, how's it going, girl? Do you need me? Like, I got you. Let's FaceTime. Let's figure this out. And just like the fact that we're so supportive, and the Welcome Center itself, when you guys get to come visit, which I really hope you do, our staff of tour guides and student assistants and our manager, John, like we are all a smaller family there out of the giant Pace family. You know, being a tour guide, I get to meet all of you wonderful prospective students. And I also get that opportunity to get public speaking out of the way. When I first started as a tour guide, I was terrified of talking to these random people I had just met. Now I do it on a whim. I volunteer for Pacebound, you know, who would have thought? But it really does help doing things like being a tour guide and going out and being involved on campus. It helps you become a better teacher because you learn how to interact with different kinds of people. You know, when I was in high school, I was in this small little bubble of, hi, I'm the small gay theater kid, woohoo! Never spoke to an athlete, never spoke to that kind of person, this kind of person. I was in my bubble. Here at Pace, my roommate freshman year was an athlete. That was terrifying, but you know what? He's one of my best friends now, and I also got him to sing Broadway songs in the shower, so just saying I won that fight. But like, you know, you just learn that really there are no bubbles. You're just talking to people and just everybody interacts differently. So I think that Pace is awesome because you really do get to, you know, become this part of a family that cares so much about each other. But not only that, but you also learn how to be a better teacher by just hanging out and like talking to people, which is super cool.
Oh, thank you. Michael, I've known Michael, that is Michael. That's who you get. When he shows up in my office, it's like, hey, and he comes in full of life, and he always brightens my day when he comes in. So what you see is what you get, and I just love Michael. And, well, I love all the kids, if truth be told. And then's my little friend down there, Christina Fonte. Christina.
Hello, everybody. I'm Christina, and I'm a junior childhood education major with a concentration in history. I am also a commuter student, and I am the current president of a club on campus called the Future Educators Association. So each semester we do really fun service projects and events, some of which were helping paint a school in a low-income area in the city. We have gone to Ronald McDonald House, which is just a few minutes away from the Pleasantville campus, and we cooked a meal for the patient families at the hospital. We also do really fun events like trivia nights We have done an Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader event, and our most recent event was a volleyball tournament, and we gave away great prizes. Everybody had so much fun. But FEA usually meets on Mondays, and it's a really fun time. So I hope if you decide to come to PACE, you'll stop by and hang out with me for a little while. I chose PACE because it is such a small school, and I really wanted to feel like part of a community wherever I decided to go, and that's what I've got. Because of the size, I've created great relationships with my advisors and professors. I stop into Linda all the time to talk to her. She can't get rid of me sometimes. And I always feel cared for and supported at PACE. I also chose PACE because the education program here allows you to get into the classroom a year earlier than most other schools, and this really makes PACE stand out from other colleges. I decided to go into education because I always used to set my basement up like a classroom when I was younger and play school with my family. They did not enjoy it as much as I did, but I used to love pretending that I was the teacher, which later led me to become a dance teacher throughout high school. And from that time, I knew I wanted to pursue a career in education, and PACE was at the top of my list. So if you haven't yet committed, good luck making your decision, and I really hope to see some of you around in the fall.
Aw, thank you, Christina. Okay, and then let's hear from rising sophomore. She'll be a sophomore in the fall, so she's just finishing up freshman year. It's very close in age to you out there. So Sasha Saka-chan will talk to you about her experiences on the New York City campus. Sasha.
Hi, I'm Sasha Sagashan. I'm a freshman here at Pace University, majoring in early childhood and childhood education. And I go to the New York City campus, but I do commute. But if you have any questions about New York City, just going to this campus in general, or commuting, or both, I'm looking at the chat, so you can ask away. My freshman year at Pace has been incredible. I really do love it. First semester was great. I've had already so many professors who genuinely care and have me actively engaged in the courses, and I appreciate that. I feel like I'm getting a lot out of my education. There's so much for social life too, even as a commuter student. I'm in the Office of Multicultural Affairs. They have a lot of meetings and stuff. I'm actually in their knitting circle. um, I joined the Pretentious Press, which is Pace's satirical newspaper, and we're like a little family already too. It's really nice. We have little Zoom meetings right now, but we'll meet in person when we do. The School of Education for New York City is amazing. I love it. My advisor is actually here, Sydney, and I go speak to her about everything regarding School of Ed. She's incredible. And so you start your your School of Education courses the second semester of freshman year. So I took my first education course this semester, and I love it. Teach 201. And you actually get into the field this semester as well. So before everything, started working at a little preschool, and I found out I really, really enjoyed it. It made my day. Having these experiences early really made me solidify like I want to be a teacher. So I appreciate that PACE allows me to have this field work at such an early part of my college experience. Again, someone mentioned that classroom sizes are pretty small. My math class, Professor Evans here, who's an incredible math teacher, he actually, we have a class of only about 8 students. So you really have that one-on-one type of connection with your professors. And we actually had, like, in terms of remote learning, a presentation this morning that went so well. So it shows that we really do learn no matter what the circumstances we're under. With the School of Education, my teach class, actually, we're all the kids in it that are part of the School of Education are students that I will be with for the rest of the time in college. So we're forming a nice little friendship group, and we talk a lot. We have a group chat. It's really nice being with people who also have the same passion in education, and also being with them throughout my time at PACE and having that connection. But overall, I get what you're going through, because 1 year ago, I was sitting in your exact position, wondering, what am I going to do? What decision will I make? It's very overwhelming and terrifying. I completely understand that. And I really hope that we can clarify any of the concerns you have and help you make that decision process even faster and easier. But if you have any questions, I'll be in the chat. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Sasha. Thank you for that. Very heartfelt. I think that's sort of the theme across all 4 current students is how heartfelt and honest their remarks are, and I appreciate that. The fact that they would take the time out today to share their experiences too means a lot to the School of Ed, and you know, just speaks to their goodwill and their experience here. What we're going to do, I know when I was giving my little spiel, I couldn't talk to you and read the chat box at the same time for 2 reasons. I'm not that talented, and I don't have the best eyesight in the world, if truth be told. I'd have to like really move in and scare you with my face that close to the camera. So we're going to open it up to some Q&A. I'll turn it over to my colleague, Sydney Andino Bridgelaw, and she'll sort of monitor the kinds of questions you guys have been putting up in the chat box. And our hope is really that our students can answer those questions for you. It's, you know, from the mouth of babes, as they say.
Yes.
Okay, Sydney.
Hi, everyone. So I've been monitoring your questions through the chat box. Some of them I have been able to answer, and some of them I left to the side so that we can kind of have this Q&A time. So one of the quick questions that I wanted to bring up, and they have been very great questions, and I'm going to kind of combine 2 from 2 different people. So Naleska asked, what is the 5-year program? And then Kayla asked, what are the benefits for people who accept the 5-year program? So let's see what some of our students have to say about that.
I think I'm going to start on that one since I'm currently experiencing the 5-year program. So as Linda mentioned earlier, one of the benefits of the 5-year program, and mainly the parents who are listening, is that financially your financial aid packages that you receive under your undergrad years do roll over. So honestly, I think this has been the cheapest year I have ever paid for my education here at Pace. So it really does make a difference. Another benefit is that instead of doing another master's program in another college, you're finished within a year. So 5 years, bachelor's and master's. And you're comfortable. You know the professors, you've been working with them for the last 4 years. You know the students, you meet some new faces with some students who are in the standalone program. But the gears shift a little in the sense that your courses now are more focused on teacher research, really hands-on. Most of the students in your classroom are either, you know, paraprofessionals, teachers, somewhere in the field. So you get a more broader experience hearing from other classmates as well. And again, 5 years done, master's. And if you want to continue, you know, maybe you get that done a little faster now too, because you took advantage of that 5-year.
So I'm just going to jump in really quick, Jamie. So you were saying about the 5th year and the benefits financially about the program. So Dylan just asked, why would the 5th year be cheaper? The portion of this is, Jamie kind of touched on this, any PACE-based aid that you receive from the university rolls over to your 5th year. And what that means is that it helps cover those courses during your 5th year here. So you do not have to pay more out of pocket during that 5th year when you're doing a graduate program. So this helps lessen your tuition that you're responsible for during your 5th year.
But also, when the students get to the 5th year, their tuition is calculated a little differently. It's per credit. Mm-hmm. And so the credit load that you're carrying as a graduate student is smaller. So you're carrying maybe 16 credits, 15 credits, as opposed to 18. And it also gets calculated a little bit differently. So ironically, yes, the 5th year turns out to be a little cheaper than the first 4 years.
Yeah,
but
so
the good news, just like Sydney said, is that PACE-based scholarship, merit, presidential, whatever it is that you're getting, that will be applied to your 5th year of study.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
oh, I'm so sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
it's okay. I was just going to say, somebody's asking, is it specific to program, the 5th year? So it's not specific to program. All of our students who are in an undergraduate degree here at Payson School of Education have the option to move forward into the 5th year program. So it's not specific to a childhood student or an early childhood student or an adolescent student. All of our students have the same opportunity to participate in the 5th year. And the 5th year, we keep talking about it and we haven't really kind of described it, is your graduate specialization of teaching. So your first 4 years is your initial programming, what you're going to actually teach in the classroom. So if you're a childhood student, you'd be in an elementary school teaching either English or science or math. If you're an adolescent, it's the same thing. You're going to be in a high school setting teaching history or something to that effect. The 5th year is a graduate program in a different specialization. So Jamie, what's your specialization?
Special education.
So what she's going to now have is the experience in her 4 years, what her initial certification is, and an experience to teach a special education class at the end of her 5th year. So that's what the 5th year is encompassing.
Yeah, Jamie, do you want to talk a little more specifically about your master's program in special ed?
Yes. So I chose the special education route. I have friends who chose literacy and friends who chose tech education. Sorry, I'm not as tech savvy as as those classmates, but you know, you do have your options, and eventually we also have a TESOL option as well. So if you want to teach English as a second language for students as well. I chose special education because that's where my heart's been from day one in education. I have a sister with autism, so I wanted to continue working with the community. So as I mentioned, the courses shift to solely teaching you courses in preparation to teach special education. So I've been able to take courses on how to develop an IEP. I can now conduct teacher research, which is what I'm currently doing now. Would never think I would be writing up a research page on paper, answering my own inquiry questions, and you know, collecting data on my students and seeing, you know, what effects does it have on my students. And so that's where everything kind of shifts. The 4 years of undergrad is kind of a bit broader, teaching you how to be a good teacher for elementary or adolescents, depending on which one you choose. And then you're taking 30 credits within your concentration. So mine was history. So it was either I was taking a course to how to teach methods in some subject area or expanding on my personal knowledge in history. But now I'm solely only focusing on special education, learning tools and methods to teach those classes, and well as the background. Again, like I said, those IEPs, how to write those up, how to conduct CST meetings. And I'm saying a lot of things that you might not know yet, but you'll learn all these like terminologies in these courses.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jamie. I have a question that I'm going to kind of pose to the student panel here. And this is from Jenna. What would you say makes PACE education program stand out from the typical college? What do you think makes this stand out to you?
Christina, did you want to do it?
Well, I kind of touched on it a little bit before, saying how we are in the field our junior year, and other colleges usually don't go out into the fields until your senior year. So for this past year, I've been in the Ossining School District 1 day a week. The fall semester I was in 1st grade, and now this past semester, spring, I was in a 5th grade classroom. So you get a little glimpse at a low grade and a high grade, but I have stepped into the classroom already. I'm making myself known in the district, and I was also offered that tutoring opportunity that I could have joined with Ossining. So that's just everything we do. We're getting our name out there, and the superintendent is probably going to know who I am by the time I graduate. And that's just more of an opportunity to graduate with the job. So I really think PACE's education program stands out from others. And friends of mine who go to different colleges, I speak to them about this, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're already like student teaching essentially, because you're up there at the board doing lessons with the kids, you're jumping right in. And none of my friends in other schools have this experience.
I think also in addition to that, kind of what Sasha was talking about earlier. Sasha, I don't know if you were going to bring it up again. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
You
okay.
want to talk about it? It's okay.
Oh, okay. Um, like I mentioned before, you get into the field second semester of freshman year. You're not full time in the field, but that part time experience really helps like solidify if you want to continue with this, and it brings out more passion if you really do like it. I've been working before everything at a preschool, and I loved it so much. It made my whole week, even if it was just like 3 hours, and it really, really like it gave me confidence to become more of a teacher and to continue on this track. So I feel like a lot of the other schools, like when I talk to friends at other schools, they haven't started fieldwork yet, even if they are education majors. So I feel like that's something that PACE has so like set aside. Like that's a very like special thing that they do in terms of their school of education that many colleges don't do. Having that is amazing. It's yeah.
I think another thing in addition to that that sets us apart is really like when people think Pace University, especially on the Pleasantville campus too, like they mostly think of business because, you know, New York City campus is right in the heart of the financial district. And when they think of the Westchester campus, they think of nursing because, you know, like we got a pretty bomb nursing program too. Nobody really thinks education. But the thing that I really love is Pace itself. They don't see us as, you know, like this ugly stepchild just like there in the corner. It's like, yeah, we got it, but it's whatever. No, they take us just as seriously as they do business and nursing. Like everyone across the board is treated fairly. And the fact that even though, yes, we are much smaller as a school, like they still care about us and we still get the same amount of support, the same amount of recognition on campus. And, you know, I've visited other schools where their big thing was education and they didn't ever mention anything else, or they mentioned everything else, but I had to like really work my way to go find the education department. At Pace, like we're all here just trying to get the degree that we want for the job that we want, and Pace will support us no matter what job that is, which is education. So it's an awesome school.
Another thing I wanted to add really quickly is that PACE gives you a lot of freedom in terms of which school you want to actually teach in. So I commute, so I live on Long Island. So I was working at a preschool on Long Island, so I don't have to commute that far from my house. But if you are dorming in the city, you can go to the 5 boroughs and try to go into their schools too. Like I have friends who are trying to work at I think it was a preschool in Brooklyn. There's you get to build that connection pretty quickly and get to go to have different experiences among the boroughs. And it's a nice change.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, everybody. Oh, Jamie, were you going to go ahead?
There was just one thing that when I was an incoming freshman that really blew me away that Pace had that no other school that I was looking at had was the avatars. The avatars are freakishly cool because they're just not these animated children in front of you, but they're controlled by people in the background. So I remember coming as a potential student wearing a Washington little beanie hat. And I went up, introduced myself in front of them, and they noticed that I was wearing the hat. And it took me away that there was actual people behind this. And, you know, you're able to set the settings from easy, medium, hard, elementary, all the way to adolescence, or even having parent conferences. And like Linda says, you get to kind of test it out with, you know, the fake students before you go out in the field. So on top of doing those field trips, you're also working in front of, you know, the smart boards, kind of feel comfortable talking in front of people. And, you know, if you mess up there, at least it was there and not in the classroom.
Thank you, Jamie. I'm sorry, I was just answering a quick question here on the chat box. I did have one question that I wanted to kind of gear towards Christina. So Christina, you were talking about the club's FEA. So somebody, let me just make sure I have the right person. Nolan asked, is the club FEA specific to Pleasantville or New York? So I did mention that we do have clubs on different campuses, but I wanted you to elaborate a little bit more, okay?
Yes, so I'm not sure if there's exactly FEA on the New York City campus, but I was going to actually video chat this past spring with somebody there to kind of coordinate like a counterpart on the New York City campus. But obviously with everything going on, we just haven't gotten around to it. But I think, Linda, we were going to work on, but yeah, we were going to work on setting something up, which is essentially the same thing. I'm kind of going to mentor somebody in the city campus, kind of how we plan events, how we plan our meetings, all like the things we do. And we're going to get that started.
So yeah, so Christina's mentioning the connecting with the New York City campus. So there is something called Kappa Delta Phi, I think it is, that's on the New York City campus that is very similar to what FEA is on the Pleasantville campus. And what we're doing is to make it, what we've all been saying is one school, two campuses. We're trying to make it so that both clubs talk to each other and that they know each other. And so that if anybody wants to set up an event where it's on both campuses, you can do so. So we're really centric towards the student in terms of making sure that on both campuses, everybody talks to each other. So that this is part of what we do here at the School of Education.
There was, you muted yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I unmuted myself because I was gonna look for a question. So Kayla brought to my attention, she asked, when or how do you know what you will be teaching? So I did ask if you mean by towards the end of the program, if during field work, but we can answer that kind of right now. So student panel, when do you know what you'll be teaching, what you're doing in your field work, that type of stuff? I just elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, so before you start your field work, which is pretty good. You never come in that first week and you're immediately shoved into a random place in a random school that you've never heard of before. It does, sometimes it does take a little while longer for some students than others because, we don't shove 20 PACE students into one school. We like to spread out ourselves. This way, this way you're forced to interact with your environment. You're forced to interact with teachers and say, hi, haha, I'm new, please help me because I really need some help, and it's really a great experience. But I would say the earliest you'd find out is probably right as your sophomore year is closing. The latest you'd find out is like beginning of August. And the really cool thing is when you do get placed into your school district for your fieldwork, you're given a supervisor, a clinical supervisor who oversees, your whole experience, make sure that not only are you teaching and how well are you doing it, but also make sure that the mentor teachers that you're following, are they treating you fairly? Are they treating you like, a fetch dog or whatever? They really do make sure that we're being treated properly and making sure that, we're not just there gluing trees to colored paper. We're there actually in front of the class saying, okay, today we're going to glue trees onto colored paper, whatever crazy activity we're doing that day. Like Christina, junior year is very interesting. It's my first experience, and the really cool thing is my supervisor was always on top of my mentor teachers, making sure that I was getting up. The first day I was there, my teacher immediately knew I was nervous, so my supervisor emailed her and said, make him read a book, see what happens. So I was like, oh, reading a book. But you do find out very soon, and just everything in the that's Siri, I apologize. Everything in our field work is just already in set place for us. Our supervisors are always there for us. You're never alone. And like I said, you do find out early. Christina, tossing it to you.
Oh, I just want to talk a little bit more about our supervisors because mine has been so helpful this whole time because I was extremely nervous going into the classroom the first time. She was there. She walked me through the school. We met other teachers, not just my mentor teacher, but actually just like getting a feel for the school itself really helped me out. And every week I meet with my supervisor. She comes into my classroom. She observes me for a few minutes. Then I'll go out in the hallway with her and we'll have like a conversation, just like how are things going? If I need help with anything, my classes, just like she wants to know what's going on in my life and with school. And also with like lesson plans, she's always there to like read over my lesson plans, anything I have to do for my classes, because she just really wants to make sure I'm getting as much preparation as I possibly can. So you guys will probably have a supervisor who you will meet with every single week, and they will be there with you until you graduate. So definitely make a good bond with them and really use them as a resource because it is so helpful.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I have one more question, and it's going to be geared towards you, Linda, okay?
Yeah.
So Jenna asked, what are some of the school districts that Pleasantville area students have in their student teaching? What area do they usually work with in the Pleasantville area?
Yeah. Well, we've been here 53 years in Westchester, so it's really what district do we not work with? I mean, our closest partnership is with the Ossining School District. As Christina mentioned, she's in Roosevelt School in the 5th grade there. The superintendent, Ray Sanchez, actually came to meet with our May graduates right before the virus outbreak. And he came personally. He came with his HR hiring director, and he met with the kids who are graduating in May. So we're really all over Westchester, you know, White Plains, New Rochelle, Pleasantville, Peekskill, Croton, Ossining. So, you know, all over. I did see a quick question in the chat box about, somebody wanted to know if they could do childhood education with a concentration in math. And I'm sure Dr. Evans likes hearing that, right? Right, Christina? That math concentration? Yeah, good times. But yes, that's the answer, absolutely. Just so you know, the childhood and early childhood people, excuse me, are required to do a 30 credit concentration in addition to their major. Your major is education, but you're required to do a 30 credit concentration in a subject area. And so the students choose from either math, English, history, or biology. And really, you know, not to get too technical or too detailed, that 30 credit concentration has real value in the marketplace. We can very easily get you certified grades 5 to 9 in that subject area. So if, for example, you come in as childhood 1 through 6 and you do a concentration in mathematics, you would only need 2 additional courses to be certified math 5 to 9. So just makes you much more marketable, and certainly a better teacher because now you have this in-depth knowledge of your particular concentration area. And, you know, if I had better math teachers when I was a student back in the day, I wouldn't be math phobic like I am. So we need more people to do the math concentration. And I know Brian, even though his video is turned off, he's grinning from ear to ear. But I do want to be mindful of time.
So I was going to say that those were all the questions that I had that were pulled from the chat box. Any other questions I did respond to through the chat. So thank you everybody for all those really mindful and thoughtful questions that you asked.
Hi, I'm back. It's me again. Just want to thank everyone so much for joining us today. We hope that we were able to successfully convey the benefits of a PACE education, and we hope that you decide to be part of our School of Ed family. A recording is going to be available on the PACE University YouTube channel in a couple of weeks, so you'll be able to see this again if you'd like to watch it over and over again. Also, thank you, Renee. Connect with us. If you have any questions, you're going to walk away and be like, oh, I forgot to ask this. That's okay. SOE@pace.edu. Take out your phone, take a picture of this. All of the students, our star panel today, here are their email addresses. Feel free to reach out to them. And as I mentioned before, social media, tag us. We love it. We want to interact with you. Here's our handles at Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we wish you all the very best in your search. Take care, stay home, stay safe, be kind, and we hope to see you soon.